Hi everyone, this is Dina. I'm the Nightly Stitcher here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. This is Saturday, October the 18th. Yes, it is. I have my note written. Saturday, October 18th, 2025, and this is Flosstube 42. I haven't made a Flosstube since September 2nd, I think it was, and it's like, okay, this is just way too long. I have to get it done. It seems like I struggle every month to get a video made. I'd like to do them every 2 weeks, and then it just doesn't happen, but we hear that from a lot of floss tubers, so I guess I'm not the only one. Um, so today I have several whips I've worked on since September 2nd, and then I have a start and a finish, and I have a start, and then I think I have just a few finds as far as thrift store finds or whatever. So we'll take a look at those in a minute. Oh, here, I'll show you this. So you all probably noticed Tootie is always in my videos, and she's sleeping on my table, and she says, please don't pick me up, Mom. I want to go back to sleep on the table. All right, lay back down. You really shouldn't be up here. But anyway, no, I'll pick her up one more time. So if anybody is new to my channel, here, pay attention. If anybody is new to my channel, this is Tootie. Tootie is my little all-star, my little movie star. And she's almost 5 years old. She'll be 5 years old in December. And she weighs almost 4 pounds. So she is my little cuddle bug. She's my baby. We both sat out on the deck. Hannah was out there yesterday too. And the weather was really, really nice. So we sat out there and both of them took a nap. And I kind of kicked back and didn't take a nap, but it was relaxing. So I wanted to get this done today. I don't remember if I posted pictures on my Instagram or not, but we are having some construction work done to the house. For people that don't follow me along, I'll update you that everyone else that follows me probably already knows this, but we live in a big 2-story house that was built in 1869. So yes, it's over 150 years old. I love it. I love this home. I grew up in a big old home like this, and then we went to, the ranch style as we were raising kids, and then we had a chance to buy this house, so we did. But on our front porch, we have the porch, that goes all the way across, and it has a balcony up above, and the porch has had water damage to it. We've been fighting this for about 3 or 4 years anyway. We had a terrible time finding anybody that could actually work on it and do the repair work. We, first of all, had trouble with people calling us back. And is that just a thing? Contractors don't want to call you back? Or they'd finally show up and then they didn't want to do it. It was too involved. We had some problems with our gutters not draining good during heavy rains. And then the porch had to be repaired. And we also wanted to get it repainted. We've been here 9 years on the 31st of this month, and we wanted to repaint. It's gray with white trim right now, and I am not a gray person. So I think I have the color picked out for the house and the trim. And then I think I'm going to go with a different color for the doors, but, I'm not sure. They haven't gotten to that point yet. So anyway, I could pick, if I don't have pictures on my Instagram, I guess I should put pictures to track my my life there. But anyway, we've had contractors here since October 10th, and they started tearing out the porch and the balcony, and they had to put a new, I guess it's support beam across the whole width of the front porch. So there's been lots of sawing and banging and carrying on, and it's hard to it's kind of hard to do a video. Plus, the electrician was here Thursday and Friday, I guess it was, to put in some outlets on our front porch. We didn't have any outlets if you wanted to plug in, an extension cord or whatever. We had no outlets. We had porch lights, but we also would like to have a couple of ceiling fans, one on each side of the porch, because we have furniture on each side, and it would just be nice to sit out there and turn a couple of ceiling fans on if we want them. So anyway, the electrician has been here since he was here Thursday and Friday, and he's not done yet. So that made me kind of have to stick around close to the front door in case they had questions, and plus he was running in and out, and so it's kind of hard to do a video when you're not sure if somebody's going to be yelling for you. And but anyway, this morning I got up and I thought I really need to do that, and my husband said he was going to work outside in the carriage house, so I decided to gather everything up and bring it upstairs and do it. So anyway, other life updates. I can't think of anything that's anything of any value. So, I was trying to think since September. Steve had his birthday on the 27th of September. Our daughter has one coming up on the 22nd of October, but anyway, otherwise, no big deal that I can think of, other than I'm still continuing to have really bad back problems. And I did talk to the doctor that was talking to me. I've seen so many doctors with my back. This one doctor that I talked to talked about I could get an implant, have a nerve stimulator implanted in my back. But they do a temporary one on the outside to see if it's going to work before they do an actual permanent one. So anyway, I talked to them again and said, hey, can we move forward with this? And they said, well, I have to have my SI joint reevaluated because it's been a year since that's been looked at, since I had my surgery. And so I have to have that reevaluated. I hope this isn't shaking because Tootie's scratching. Because I had my SI joint fused last October. And just other than a follow-up, I got to have that reevaluated. Then I have to go see my knee doctor and have that evaluated because I haven't seen him for 2 years. And I'm having trouble with my knee. So we're just not real sure where the problem is and if one problem's causing other problems. So anyway, I have an appointment for my SI joint doctor, and then the other day, I forgot about that. I had an appointment with my knee doctor, and then I got sick and had to cancel. So I got up one morning and I just felt terrible and had no energy, and not sick, but just absolutely no energy, and only laid around for 9 days. I would get up and go to the couch and lay there all day, other than get up, go to the bathroom, back to the couch, or go to bed early. It was crazy. That was my main issue, was no energy. And so all I did was lay and sleep, or just lay awake and wonder what in the heck's going on. But anyway, I did talk to my doctor a couple of times, just my general doctor, and so they've cut me back on some medication. And I got up one Thursday morning and it's like I feel like a new person. So I don't know whether it was tapering back off of some of the medications I was taking that did that. I know the symptoms were, tiredness. So maybe so. But I got up on a Thursday morning, and I guess it'd been about a week ago, and it's like I feel normal now. So I don't know what had me so down, but the only thing we can think of is the medication. But I'm feeling good now. If I could just get my back fixed, and I don't know, that just seems like a never-ending battle. So let's see. Let's move on to, let me get my glasses. move on to, I guess that was all I was going to say about life. I'm really good about starting a story, and then I get sidetracked, and then I never go back to the original story. So if I did that, I'm sorry. It's just me and being an old lady. So I just don't, my brain hops around and I forget about things. So anyway, I wanted to show you my September and my September numbers. I had a total of 9,277 stitches for September, so that wasn't too bad for me. Still always like to have more. I did have 2 starts in September, and I did have one of those as a finish. I got thread on me. One of those is a finish, so I'll show that to you. And I stitched 28 out of 30 days, so I was very pleased with that part of it. I only had 2 days I didn't stitch. And so far in October, I haven't totaled up stitches, but I have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days that I have not stitched in October, so not that great, but I do have some pretty decent numbers. So anyway, some of this I'm not going to have fabric information because I was going to have to dig too deep, and it's just like, no, I'm just not going to do it. If you're really interested in like the fabrics, let me know, and then I can look it up and comment back to you. So I ironed this, but the wrinkles are still bad. But I did this last night, and I need to spray it with some Best Press and re-iron it to get the rest of the wrinkles out. So this was my start, one of my starts, my start and finish, and it's this little pumpkin sampler, and it's called the Pumpkin Sampler by Threads Through Time. It was actually a pattern using the gauze, and I may have showed this last time. I don't remember if I did or not. I kind of remember telling this whole story before, but anyway, it's all my Thread Through Times should have a little piece of 40 count gauze fabric in there, and this one didn't, so I'm not sure. I have not stitched it on 40 count gauze, so I know I didn't use it. So I may have picked it up somewhere and it just didn't have the gauze in with it. So anyway, I just got this out, and I believe this is a 28. Let me get my glasses on. It's very small. It might be a 36. It looks more like a 32 or a 36. But it's very small. Get a ruler here. It's 4 by 5. So it's pretty small. And it was quick to do. It was really hard to see when I was putting, as you can see, there's 2 colors in that pumpkin. And it was hard to see, but by holding it up like this, you can see it. So I was afraid it wasn't going to show up by using the 2 colors, but I did use the called for. It's just DMC floss, and it was probably a ecru colored off-white. I tea-dyed this after I stitched it. So I the colors are 921 and 922. I think it's 3363 and 3364 were the greens. I just wanted to tone them down a little bit, so I just put them in some tea. Tea or coffee? What was it? Tea. Pretty sure it's tea. But I need to get some Best Press and get the rest of the wrinkles out. So then my other start, let me put my ruler back up there. Oh, my eyes are itching. Allergies are like going full force around here. Hannah is taking medicine for coughing for allergies. And Steve and I are taking allergy medicine. Tootie's the only one that's been safe so far. Okay, let me find. I think it's buried. We're not going there yet. It's buried. And I'm not going to dig it out. Okay, so no order of how I stitched on these. I just stitched on them. And then this one is get my pattern out. It's by the Primitive Needle, and it's, whoops, the wrong pattern. Maybe I don't have the other one in here. Yes, I do. Okay, it's not in the bag. Good. It's by the Primitive Needle. It's called Cape Cod Girls. And, whoops, I lost my pattern. I have a working copy I'm working off of, and I highlight. So this is Cape Cod Girls, and it says Cape Cod Girls. They have no combs. They comb their hair with codfish bones. So you can see has a little design up here and down here, and then the side borders. So what I'm going to show you, I have become uninterested in this project, which is usually not me. But I think I don't know, I think my tastes have changed or something, or I'm bored. I started this, and I am down to the mermaid. But I started it, and I started the Cape Cod Boys. And when I started it, I stitched a long ways, and I didn't like it. It was bunchy. I was using too many threads. It's stitched on 22 count hard hanger that I dyed myself. And I like the color of the fabric. I like how it came out. But I didn't like how Cape Cod Boys was coming out. So I started ripping the entire thing out because I wanted to use the fabric I dyed because I liked it with it. And then I ended up cutting a thread. So then I had to repair the thread, which I didn't repair it like I normally do, where you pull a thread out and you weave it back in. It was just barely cut, but I had to stitch over it. So it wasn't going to be able to be stitched over. It was just going to pull through. So I took a teeny tiny piece of iron-on interfacing, and I laid it face down and got that little area nice and neat. And then I put that piece of interfacing on top and ironed it on. And it's going to work fine for stitching over it, but it just kind of left me with a bad taste in my mouth. So I decided, okay, I'm not going to, since I'm starting over, I'm going to start with the mermaid this time, the girls. So that's what I did, and I would loosen these up, but I have to have a tool to loosen them up and unroll them, and I didn't think to bring it up. So anyway, I have all of it done, except I'll get my pattern back out now that I've put it away. So anyway, I looked at this. This is like my third oldest whip, or close to my oldest whip. And I got the wrong pattern again. Well, here, I'll show it to you anyway. So I thought, I need to get this out and just knock it out, get it done. And so I have this for my bedroom stitching. When I go to bed and want to just relax, I usually stitch or knit or read. So right now I am back on a knitting spree. I'm trying to make a hanging towel for the kitchen. I have one that's made out of just a regular towel and a crocheted top, but this one is all knitted out of sugar and cream cotton. So I'm working on that. But I got this out and I stitched on it like 2 or 3 nights, and it's like I'm already tired of it. But anyway, here is what it is. And without my glasses, I'm not going to see very good. But all right, I'm going to have to put my glasses on. We still haven't made appointments for new glasses yet, and they're all wonky. These are like squids. So I have them done, and the key. I have most of the mermaid done. Let me go back over here and I'll show it. I'll tell you it again. So, yeah, the mermaid is either done or close to being done. There's the star on one side, and I have it done. I need to put this fish in her hands, fish bones, and this skedaar, and these 4 little doodads down here, and this border. And I have decided I'm not putting this border in at the bottom. It's just a solid color with like little swirls in it. And then it says 1832 in the center at the very bottom. And I am just not going to do that because I want to get done. So I'm just going to bring the side borders across after I get these 4 little things in and the fish in her hand and the star. So I should have that done fairly quick. But yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I was going to do them and put them in our camper, and that, if I ever fully finish, which you all know how well I fully finish, that's where I will put it, will be in our camper. And then this is a companion piece to it. It's, like I said, the primitive needle, and it's called Cape Cod Boys. It says Cape Cod Boys, they have no sleds. They slide down hills on codfish heads. I read that on my glasses. So this is Cape Cod Boys. I don't know if you can see it any better. If I get it closer, it's just going to blur it out. But if you notice, it doesn't have the borders at the top and the bottom like the girl does. So I don't think it's really going to make much difference. And if I had caught that, I wouldn't even put it in on the girl. I would have just done a border. So anyway, he's not even restarted yet. So he needs to get done. Because I don't like to abandon projects. I like to go on and finish them. And at least say I did it, not that it whipped me. I don't want it to win. So anyway, that is one that has had just a little bit of stitching on it. The next one that I have stitched on is called Halloween in the City by, let me find my pattern, Croqueta Go-Go, I think. I don't have my cover. Yes, I do. It's laying right there. Okay. All right. I'll take it out of this sleeve. This is my working copy, but I have now changed to markup RXP. So, yeah, this is Croqueta Go-Go, Halloween in the City. I started this, when did we decide last time? Far too long ago. October 26th of 23. And I'm using all of the DMCs that was called for, except I'm replacing the white with glow-in-the-dark DMC. The border is in B5200, I believe. And so that, I haven't made much progress. Whoops, wait a minute. I have not made much progress, but progress is progress. So I kind of have my mindset. Let me get this in here before I mess it all up. Okay. I have my mindset on 2 other projects that I am really enjoying. And so going back and picking up some of these others, I just don't want to do it right now. And if you know me, I do what I want. So I don't, I've tried spinning wheels. I've tried whip go. I've tried challenges. I tried mania. It just doesn't work for me because I don't want to be told what I have to do. I want to stitch on what I want to stitch on. And you all have heard me say that probably every Flosstube. So this is Halloween in the City. And I stitched on it a little, but now that I've looked at it, I'm kind of impressed. I had stitched part of this clock, I believe, or I might have had the clock tower finished and then this over in here. But I did this through here. And then I also did this border all the way across. I think I did it since you last saw it. And probably I don't know, but I'm thinking, I didn't look back, but I think maybe I did that. So yeah, that is Halloween in the City. And if you like this pattern and you want to see a really cute twist on it, check out Felicia at Mouse Potato Designs on, well, you check her video out on Flosstube, but also check out her Instagram because she has changed hers up with like overdyed threads, and she's used glow in the dark also, but she's doing kind of her own thing, and it is very, very cute. I like the way she made some of the houses like these wild Halloween colors, and they're striped, and it's just the cutest thing. I wish I had a thought of that. The only thing I came up with was glow in the dark thread. So, okay, I'm going to show you the other start that I had since I got to it. We'll see if, I was going to tell you what fabric that was done on. 36 count, we don't know. We don't know. Okay, so this one is by the Artsy Housewife. I'd been wanting to start this since we got back from StitchCon because that's where I bought it. And this fabric I bought to use for Trick or Treat by Flossabilities. I think it's called Trick or Treat. Halloween Town. I think it's called Trick or Treat. Anyway, when I was at Keepsakes, this, well, let me show you the pattern. It's by the Artsy Housewife called Queenie. It calls for Haunted. And so when I got to Keepsakes, they said they didn't have Haunted, but they said this was a close match. And it looks purple there, but it is not purple. Every time I show this, it's surged in purple, but it is not. It's just more of a grayish. It might have a purple, little purple hue to it, but not like it's showing up here. So anyway, at Keepsakes, when I bought the pattern, they said they didn't have any Haunted, but they had, what is this one called? Let me look at my bag and see if where's my bag? I don't think I brought the bag up for Queenie. Oh, I don't even think Queenie has a bag yet, now that I think about it. Okay. If you want to know what this is, let me know. I'll let you know. But anyway, it was not going to work for my Flossabilities Trick or Treat, but I really liked the fabric, and then I had bought this, and I thought, oh, I think I'll like it on that. So I got this started, and this is stitched. This is not a string hanging. It's stitched down through here, and, well, just right at the bottom here is where I stopped. And then I really like it, though. This is thread coming off of that leaf, but I really do like it. And I thought, oh, I can whip this out and have it done by Halloween. Well, not when I get sidetracked on other pieces. So this has just kind of been setting now for a couple of weeks. But this is Queenie by the Artsy Housewife. And then the next two are what has been taking up my time, and I'm enjoying stitching them so much. You all have been following me with this one. This is a SAL, but I'm not participating in the SAL because I started this piece. I didn't bring up hardly any of my project bags. I don't have the start date on this either, but it was like 2022. When did this come out? Well, it's 2017. I know it went back that far. Anyway, since I forgot my bags, I started this way before the SAL started. And I couldn't tell you who's doing the SAL. I knew it one time. I've got it written down somewhere, but I'm not participating in it. So, but whoever started this, they sectioned this off And then you're supposed to do a section every month and have this finished by July 4th of 2026 for the 250th anniversary of our Declaration of Independence. So, like I said, I started this years ago, and I'd say I'm kind of thinking it was 2020. And I've just worked on it on and off. And then I got into this 250th anniversary thing without joining the stitch along. Decided to just do my. There is a gnat, and it landed on my nose. I just do my own thing when I want it, but now I want to get it done by. I set June 20th, I believe, for my finish date, and I have this on Markup RXP. So I'll show you. I had to charge it a while ago, so let's see if it's got some power here. It's plugged in, and I may have to unplug it and plug my phone in if the battery starts going low on my phone. So I have Markup RXP, and I mean, I cannot believe how much difference it is using Markup RXP. I've had some issues, but they've been issues that I've caused. Nothing with the program, so don't think Markup RXP has problems. I guess they probably do, and they iron them out, but most of it is me hitting wrong buttons. But anyway, I love using this program, and I really hate going back to paper charts. I will keep paper charts. I will buy paper charts, but I also will buy PDFs, probably more, and then print them off so I have a paper copy, and then have my PDFs on my tablet. There's a way to scan your paper charts and put them in a file, and then you can upload them, but I don't know how to do that yet, and I don't have the patience to try until my daughter can help me. So anyway, this is, hang on, we got to go over here to the right picture. This is not a very good picture. It's really, really blurry. So this is what I think I just showed you as far as the picture. But I am now, I can go to this and get my stats on it. Now, when I put the PDF in here, when I loaded it, I had to go through and mark off all the stitches I had done using the paper copy and a highlighter. So it looks like I did thousands of stitches in 2 days. So, and it shows my start date as August 12th of this year, but that's actually when it got uploaded and I started marking off everything I'd already stitched. So I'm all updated, been working on it. I am now at 50.49%, which I am excited about. So I've marked 18,042 stitches, and I have 17,690 to still do. So, and I did stitch this morning. I got 159 stitches in there so far, but that was just this morning, so I'll stitch on it probably more today. I figured up if I average 2,400 stitches a month, I will have it done before June 20th, somewhere in there. And I'm not just going to cut off at 2,400. I think last month I had like 2,513 stitches or something. So I'll cut it off kind of in that range so I can work on something else. I am using a 36 count, but I don't remember the fabric. And I think I tea-dyed it, but that was a good while ago. So anyway, I'm just going to show you this. Like I said, I'm not going to unroll it because these wing nuts, I have to have a wooden tool to unroll it. So this is where I am as of right now. I love these trees. I said before I like the flowers, but I think the trees are just awesome. They use Forest Glade, Endive, DMC 471, and DMC 3030 31, I think is the 4 colors in the trees. And they just look so cool. And then I did this roof. And I did this. I did all of this over here. I can't really remember what I've stitched since you all have seen it last, but I think it's basically this stuff right through here. So I worked this morning over here. I started on it. No, I already had it started from last night. So anyway, I'm going to continue to work over here on these trees. I want to get everything done and then start into Independence Hall. So I've got, you know, the roof here. I've got roof line over here. But I want to kind of bring it all down. Let me lay this down just a minute. Oh, about to knock something off. Okay. I kind of want to get it all down to the red. I want to get the roof lines done to where I can start putting this part in with the red and the windows, this part in, and then this over here. But I feel like with what I've already stitched, I should be farther than 50%, but I'm not. So it's because there's so much stitching in this through here is why. But this is sure, it's such a pretty pattern. So I really like that. I'm using all the called for colors. It uses DMCs, and then it does use some Gentle Arts and one Classic Color Works. So I'm using all of those that it calls for, and it calls for multiple skeins. So if you do this, if you're going to start it and you're going to use the called fors, you have to get multiple skeins of the Gentle Art threads and a Calico Kitty Classic Color Works. This is how I'm keeping my spare needles, which looks like a mess, but it works for me. I take a piece of muslin and I iron just a scrap piece of, what is this stuff called? Iron-on fleece, I think it is. I think it's iron-on fleece. Anyway, you can see where I iron 2 pieces on to get the piece solid on the back. But I iron that on, and then I draw out each symbol with a Sharpie and the number, and then as I use a needle, if I've got extra thread left on it, I poke it right there with that, where that thread number is. And this really isn't a problem, because if you were to pull one out, let me see, now I'll have a problem. But if I pull 612 out, you know, if you pull it slow, it may kind of gank up on you a little bit, but it still comes out. So I have not had a bit of trouble with it, and I really like having this because I just lay it on the arm of my chair and refer back to it as I need to. Because most of the time, if I have leftover thread, I bobbinate, and I will put the needle in my bobbin and then just rewrap the tail of the thread around the bobbin. So that's how I do when I'm using bobbins. Let me set this one down here and set this over here. Nope, not going to go there. It's going to have to stay there. Okay, my last project, my last whip is, let me pull it up on here because I do have a hard copy. I printed my PDFs off, or some of them, the other night, and I'm binding them with a binding tool. I should have got that PDF pattern I printed off. But anyway, I have a binding tool that you can print off your PDF pattern. You can put a back cover on it, a clear front cover, and it's in what they call combs. And use this binding machine to punch the holes in your paper and your cover, or your back cover and your front cover. And then you use the binding machine to also put in the machine and put all your pieces together, all your covers and paper, and it makes a book. So anyway, that's what I did last night. I got some of them. Oh, I have some new ones I bought. I forgot about that. I said that, I think, 2 videos ago and forgot to show them to you. So I'll show them to you since I have my tablet up here. and it's going to take a minute to load. Okay. So this is from Heaven and Earth Designs. This is, well, not really my first full coverage. It's going to be my first really big full coverage because I have a Luca S. Santa started that's full coverage, but I haven't gotten a long ways with it. So I can't really say I'm a full coverage person yet. But anyway, I am loving full coverage from what I've done. So this is a portrait of Father Christmas, and it's, I believe it's Dave Massey is the artist, and I just can't get over this piece. If you watch anybody else that does full coverage stitching, when this is done, this will look the same. It just blows my mind because it's so realistic, but it's when you stitch on a tiny fabric over one thread, it does come out realistic looking. It's just amazing. So I had to do this, although I may never get it done. I had to have it. I started stitching up in this dark corner here and working my way down. And what happened was, since I was new to full coverage, I really didn't know what I was doing. Let me turn it this way, if it will. Yeah, and then we can get a big view of it. So, anyway, I started it on 28 count Lugana, and I was using 2 threads over one with a full cross stitch, and I didn't like the way it was bunching up. And again, I fell into that. I just didn't like the look of it. But I had started up in this far corner, and I worked my way across just kind of randomly stitching in I think it was 20 stitches down from the top, and I was going to try to go all the way across. Well, I did go all the way across with some colors, but not all of them. And then I come back over here and I started filling in more because I wanted to see what it looked like filled in more solid. And when I did that, I did not like it at all. So I got on I joined a group called Full Coverage Fanatics on Flosstube. Not Flosstube, Facebook. And I asked everybody, and I had even did little samples on the fabric. I did, before I posted anything, I did 2 strands in a tent stitch, which is just basically half of a cross stitch. I did 3 strands in a tent stitch, but I really didn't want that. I wanted to do a cross stitch. So then I did 1 strand with a full cross stitch. And of course, I had been doing 2 strands full cross stitch. So I just asked the group what most people stitch on 28 count. And most of them said that they stitch on 28 count with 1 strand over 1 thread of fabric. I'm going to have to pause here just a second. Okay, I'm back. I had to get a fan. You're going to hear it, but it was that or stop recording because I am starting to get really hot. So anyway, what I was saying was I had tried different samples. Sorry about that. Tried little sample stitches to see what I liked, and I couldn't really decide. And most people said they stitched 1 thread over 1 fabric thread on 28 counts. So I thought, okay, that's the way I'm going to go with it. And I restarted it on the same piece of fabric. I was going to restart it on another piece of fabric, and I ordered 2 yards of 28 count Lugana. And before it came, I ended up picking out what I had put in and then restarting it on the same piece of fabric. So I still have 2 yards, which is fine. I don't mind. The picking out I thought was going to be a nightmare, but it wasn't too bad. A couple nights and I had it done. So I have now restarted and I am stitching in a different way. Let me move a little bit. I am now trying to stitch 2 rows of 10 blocks each. I have gridded my fabric, and I'm pleased with how this is turning out. So wait a minute, before I show it to you, I'll show you the Father Christmas again. And like I said, this is a portrait of Father Christmas. Try to get the glare off. By Heaven and Earth Designs. They throw sales on quite often, so you can also take advantage of that. So anyway, that's Father Christmas, and this is where I am at so far. And it's big. I mean, you can see it's a good sized piece. Um, this is where I played around with the different strands and didn't like it. So let me see if I can bring it up here closer. And this up here, if and when and if I ever get this finished, I'm going to frame it super close. So I just took a little marker and wrote. I had trouble when I didn't have these up here. I kept having to go, okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I kept getting confused on which thread this was. So then I decided I'm just going to mark up here. So I got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then it goes to 100. And I've gone up there with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And I'll continue over until I get it all marked. I don't have the vertical threads in this yet. But I am doing this gridding method, and you just about have to do this. I don't see how anybody could stitch a full coverage without being gridded. And I didn't, you can buy the gridded fabric. It's a little bit more, but not much. But I don't want to wash this piece. So I don't usually, I got to watch my cable here. I keep getting my knee caught in it. I didn't want to have to wash this when I was done because I don't really touch the fabric. Not much. I mean, I might add a little bit here and there, but I keep this on the bottom, so if I'm touching it, I'm touching this piece. Once I start rolling it, if I need to, I'll put another piece of this elastic up here to protect it. But anyway, I am almost at 1,000 stitches, which is a whopping 1%. I have hit the solid number instead of the fractional number. So that's what I've got going right now. And let me move some stuff here. So that's a portrait of Father Christmas, and I wanted to show you this. Okay. Having trouble. I found these pages when we were in Cincinnati at a thrift store, and they're made for floss. I forget what the name is. I think they still make them. I've seen them in the past. I never did try them before. But I got, 10 pages, I think it is. 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah. 10 pages for $2 for the bundle. So, and I think I got 5 bundles at this thrift store. So I thought, I'm going to give it a try for this. No, actually, I thought, I'm just going to buy them because I had not bought Father Christmas yet. So I had these. And Father Christmas calls for, I've got the Max Color. You can get different versions of your pattern on Heaven and Earth Design. So if you don't want to use Max Color, you can use another form, and it's less colors, but it's not going to be as fine of a detail if you use the one with less colors. So I went with the Max Color, and it calls for 197 colors. So I found these, and I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put all of Father Christmas in these pockets. So those are all going to be used in this project. And so I got them out, got them started, and I don't like them at all. So I'll probably throw my others. I don't know. We have a place that takes craft donations and they recycle, and not recycle, but they upcycle. They sell. But anyway, I don't know. I may not keep the others, but I'm keeping this for now. But you cannot get these out of these little pockets. So I came up with this tool. Now this is a real fancy tool. Not a lot of people will be able to find this in stores because it's a big, gigantic paper clip that I bent. So if you have this method, you come down here and you go fishing, and you hope you can. It's kind of hard to do it this way anyway, but you hope you can get your paper clip in and hook it and catch a bobbin. And then, let me see if I can get it back off of there. No. And then you just put it back in here. I'm gonna choke myself here. Not my idea of a great floss system. And you don't dare tip this thing upside down. If this was to fall off of my coffee table, it would be a disaster if it fell the wrong direction, because I have just bumped it and knocked bobbins out of the top. So, yeah, this is Father Christmas binder. It works good for Father Christmas, but I don't like the system. I would not use it. I might use it for some of these other full coverages that I have, but just not fond of it so far. So anyway, another thing I was going to point out was on gridding the fabric, because you can grid fabric for any project you have. If you're just doing a Christmas ornament, you could grid your fabric. And then you have that landmark there to line your stitches up with. So you can always tell whether you're in the right spot or not. Since I have been using this, I can see gridding fabric for more things that are more detailed. So I know this is going to be something I do in the future. And you can even start gridding, even if you have your project started, you can still grid. So that's probably what I'm going to do, because I have a lot of big projects that are pretty involved. And I think I'm probably going to grid just to make counting easier. But what I was going to say, you can buy from websites or needlework shops, you can buy gridding thread. All it is a monofilament line, like fishing line. And I don't remember what it's called, but it's like 100 yards for $12. And I bought this off of, and it's basically the same thing. I bought this off of Amazon. It's Zebco Cajun Smooth Cast. Let me get my glasses on. Yeah. Zebco 4-pound. You want to make sure you have 4-pound. If you go up bigger than 4-pound to a 6, 8, 10, whatever fishing line, it's going to be too thick for you to work around. This is very soft. You can't even see it here. Let me see if I can get it up here. But you can see it's super fine and it's very flexible. But I got 3,000 yards for almost $9. It was $8 and something. Where if you get the actual stitching gridding monofilament line, you're getting 100 yards instead of 3,000 yards for $12 instead of $9. So I figured up the other day that would be 100 yards would be 30 of the gridding line that you buy at shops, needlework shops. It would take 30 of them to come out with the same amount of yardage here. So 30 of them at 12 something, or one at $9. So that is definitely a winning situation there, because I don't mind spending money, but I want to spend my money wisely, because that gives me a lot more to spend on other things that I want. So I want to show you the other, I think I've got two. So I fell into this full coverage rabbit hole, but anyway, here's a couple of more that I bought. I haven't started them, but I would love to. But it's just like, I've always said, I love the process of stitching. Yes, the finishing is a bonus, but I love the whole process. Um, so let me go to picture. This is one I bought the other day, or a little while back. And the bird, the plants, the moon, the colors just sold me. The woman, I'm not into stitching that kind of stuff, but I love this picture. Just love it. I can't wait to start it. And look how the moon has all the different colors in it. I just think this is going to be so fun. I said bird, but it's two parrots. She reminds you of the Chiquita Banana Lady. If you're my age, you know who the Chiquita Banana Lady was. So anyway, that was one of them I bought. I got it on sale. And then my other one I bought on sale. And again, these are full coverage, so they're going to take years to finish. So if I finish them, fine, and if I don't, I'm just enjoying stitching on them. So let's see, go to a picture there. Let's see if I can enlarge it a bit. And then this one. And you know how much I love peacocks. So this one looks a little washed out. I think I got my screen up a little too bright, but it's a beautiful piece too. Like I said, both of these are full coverage. If you're interested, I didn't tell you the actual titles to them. And you get them, these were both from Heaven and Earth Designs. The woman with the parrots is called Harvest Moon. Well, I'll go back to the picture. So the woman with the parrots is called Harvest Moon, and I get the max color. So you will see that you'll see the same picture repeated in different places, and it'll say add to cart, but you got to look at the details, because if you click on it, it may not be max color. You have to really read your details on Heaven and Earth to make sure you're getting what you really want. And then this one was called picture, wrong one. Let me try this again. I'm a little too fast for my tablet, so I'll go to click on one of the patterns, and it's actually a different pattern because it hasn't uploaded or refreshed or whatever. So let me try this again. Now, so the birds, the peacocks, is called, where is the title? There. Sunny Birds, max color. Whoops, you don't need that page. So Sunny Birds, max color. This is some of my other PDFs that I've got on here. I bought these off of Etsy a long time ago, and I just haven't stitched them, but I've had them on my phone. Whoops, sorry. I've had them on my phone. So I finally got them from my phone over onto Markup RXP. So this is one of the, I don't know why it took the picture like it did. That won't work. Does it change? No, it doesn't change. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. Come on, go back. But it's 8 little penguins, you can see right there. And I want to do them individually for ornaments. Penguin Sampler, and who is it by, in case you wanted to know. I can't read it, even with my glasses. If you're interested, let me know and I'll pull it up somewhere else. This little guy I really want to do because I love squirrels, and it's almost here. Let me see if we got a decent picture of it. Yes. This little guy, isn't he cute? I have him. I'm not going to pull him up. It takes too long. All right. I have the squirrel up there in the right corner. Then down in the left, second row is a little beaver. And then a fox. The next one is my Halloween in the city. And then all the birds came in one package. It's from Nikki Creations, and you get like 15 bird patterns. So I stitched one. I haven't stitched anymore. So anyway, that's my Markup RXP PDFs. And like I said, I have this fear of losing everything. I've never been one that likes to keep stuff electronically. I have no idea how the whole cloud thing works. Not interested. I want hard copies in my possession. So I took all of my PDFs and I printed them off. And like I said, the big ones, I'm binding them with my binding machine. The smaller ones, if they go in page protectors, I put them in there, and then I put them in a 3-ring binder. So that's what I've got going. I did want to show you this, though. I got my knobs. Last video, I was showing you how I was gluing knobs onto my pattern boxes. Now I'm going to try to do this. And so these are my pattern boxes. I've got 7 up here at the top. I'm trying to watch this screen without flipping it around. These are all sampler patterns. And then down here, we run into, sorry, this is probably going to be a big fail. But I have all of these. I have another row down there at the bottom. I have, let's see, am I coming across there? I have more down here. But I took E6000 and I bought these knobs. Some of them I already had. I had to buy a few. But I just randomly glued them on here with E6000. So now, it used to be, I had to poke my finger in here to pull. I'd have to grab it and pull it out. And it always hurt my fingernail right where the skin attached. Let me put you back up here. But now, all I have to do, are you there? Okay. Now all I have to do is just grab a knob and pull it out. The only thing is, you can't stand it up. You know, you can't stand it up like I used to, like this. So it has to stay laying down, which still isn't a big deal. I'd rather have the knobs than keep hurting my finger pulling the plastic box out. So I'm really pleased I got that done. I make progress. It's very slow progress, but I do make progress some. So now I'm going to just show you the little dab of stuff I bought. I don't think I showed you this, but you may have seen it. This is, I might have shown this in my last one. This is Daydreams. It's a kit. I gave $4 for it at the recycling, or the upcycle place that I buy stuff from. You get this mat. It's already printed, so you just stitch this little piece right here in the middle. Actually, it's right across here. So it's a tiny little piece. I have another one that started that I picked up at StitchCon. I had mentioned this before, that I picked it up at StitchCon, and then I got home and I had part of it but not all of it, and so I had a viewer that sent me what she had because she said she wasn't going to stitch it. So now I am able to complete that piece, and I do have it started. I found these, just a variety of buttons, and I can't tell Well, I think they're just another button company, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I found this little pack for 50 cents, which I had bought a couple of packs a while back. I can get 50 cents for them. So that, and then what else I have, which like I said, it's not huge. I bought a pile. These were in a couple of different bags, and I just bought the bags. These were all Halloween. We've got some really cute pieces. Um, Not sure what I'm going to do with them. I'm never sure what I'm going to do with stuff that I buy, but anyway, I like this one real well. The cats, and then the witches' hats. There's a Christmas piece in there, so I got that. And these were just odds and ends. I think they bought. I think this is what the heart buttons were in. So I think they had planned on using these to make something, and the heart buttons were going with it. And then these two. This one I like real well. It's a little Christmas pattern, but it's very cute. And then this, it's been cut up. Well, a little bit of it's been cut up, but then there's still some yardage here. So anyway, I always buy nice fabric if I can get it. So that is it for today, isn't it, Tootie? Come up here and tell everybody bye, because you slept through the whole thing, didn't you? You slept through the whole thing. All right. We are going to let you go for now, and we will try to shoot for 2 weeks. Who knows? It could be another month, but I look like I have a wing sitting out here. We'll try for 2 weeks. We always try for 2 weeks, but anyway, until then, I hope you get lots of stitching done, and I'll see you then. Bye.